Joining me is our favorite U.S. Report regular, former White House Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor at Bondi Partners, Mick Mulvaney. Mick, great to see you tonight. And I got to ask you, are the Democrats now the official pro-crime party?
Yeah, they are in a real difficult spot here, James. By the way, it's great to see you as always. Somehow, 4 months ago, Donald Trump maneuvered them into being the party that was for criminal illegal immigrants. And now he's maneuvered them into being the party that is for crime. It's astounding to see what's happening in Washington, D.C. I'm not there this week, obviously, but I spent a great deal of time in the city, and crime is bad. Crime is worse than it has been, not necessarily in terms of the numbers, but in terms of the breadth of the unsafe parts of town are growing relatively quickly. So I think Trump is actually right to be doing this. But I was watching these reports today about everything that Trump is doing, and I couldn't ask myself, you know what, if the Democrat mayor of Washington was doing this, she'd be being applauded by Democrats for being, for doing what needs to be done to help save the city. It's again, part of this Trump derangement syndrome. Whatever Donald Trump does is automatically wrong to roughly 45% of the country. And the Democrats are really, really struggling with how to deal with this politically.
Well, and one of the great victims of this Trump derangement syndrome would have to be this guy who I played a little bit of before, but I'll show him on the screen again. He's this guy who threw a Subway sandwich at I think a uniformed FBI cop, and apparently it's now come out that he worked for the Department of Justice. So I can only imagine now it's going to be a matter of time before the New York Times starts running a big 3,000-word soft-focus puff piece about his shattered career in a moment of madness standing up to the Trump administration. But, I mean, what is happening here with, these people in Democrats working for the government? You would think that you'd be happy if you lived in Washington, that your risk of being carjacked or hit with a stray bullet went down.
And again, they would be being happy. They would be happy if it was a Democrat doing it, or if it's anybody other than Donald Trump. That this Trump derangement syndrome is real. I see that video. I've seen that before, and all I can think to myself is I'm sure his parents are very proud of him. And it goes to a larger discussion about the deep state. These are the people who have worked for the federal government for a long time. These are the people who have been pushing the left-wing agenda, the anti-Trump agenda now, within the government. For years, people used to say, you Republicans are crazy, the deep state isn't real. All these federal workers are just at their jobs, just doing a good job, and they're not political at all. And then you see example again and again and again of guys just like this, who are, by day, Department of Justice workers, by night throwing sandwiches at the FBI agents. So it's a sad place to be, but it's where we are.
Well, it is, but I mean, then looking more broadly at the Democrats in general, obviously, they seem to have fallen on the wrong side of this 80-20 issue because, I mean, Donald Trump is right. Who doesn't want their capital to be beautiful and clean and safe? And Washington is, as we've discussed, a beautiful city. But the Democrats, they are now, their party brand is going in the toilet now. What does this mean for them now as the midterms start to heave up onto the horizon?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see because if it works, and it looks like it is working. I mean, they've already closed up some homeless camps in Washington, D.C., then the pressure on the Democrat leaders of the larger cities will just increase dramatically. And that means pressure on the Democrat Party dramatically. Keep in mind, Donald Trump, and this is important for the Australian viewers, Washington, D.C. is different. It's not a city like an ordinary city. It is a federal district. The only reason they have local government is because Congress gave them a little bit of authority, which they can take back at any time by passing various laws and so forth. So Washington is its own thing, and Donald Trump cannot do, for example, in New York, what he's doing in Washington, D.C. But people are going to look at the mayor of Washington, mayor of New York, mayor of Chicago, mayor of Los Angeles, and say, you guys could do what Donald Trump is doing. Why aren't you doing it? And that's where the party is going to have a difficulty. Why aren't they following the example? If this works in Washington, and all the indications are so far that it is working, it just ratchets up the pressure on Democrats to be more pro-law and order, and that is not a place they are comfortable being.
Well, and does this then, some of the clips I played earlier were of local African-American residents of Washington who are thrilled at the cleanup, and they say that the crime figures have been cooked. Does this then give Republicans another way into those minority communities, which started to move towards Trump in the last election?
Absolutely. I mean, keep in mind, Donald Trump did better, I think, with the African American community than any Republican since the 1960s. People don't realize that he speaks to that community in a way that other Republicans have not, and he cares about the things they care about. And you're absolutely right. They care about safety, they care about economic opportunity, they care about good schools, school choice, those types of things. And that's where Donald Trump is trying to deliver for all Americans, but it does benefit the African American community, and they see it. They voted Democrat now their entire lives. Their lives haven't changed very much. Now that Donald Trump's in office, maybe it's getting better. So look, no, it is. Whether or not, I think the bigger question is this, James, and you talked about the midterms a second ago.
Yeah.
Does that support for Donald Trump translate into support for Republicans more broadly? Republicans not named Donald Trump. I think that's the issue for the Republicans. Is it a Trump thing or is it a Republican thing? We'll find out, about a year and a half from now.